Well, hello, and welcome to the relaunch of my LinkedIn Live here. Hopefully, the tech gods are streaming this okay on LinkedIn. I have my LinkedIn profile on the side here to see if it's taking off, but hopefully it is. So, thank you for joining me. Anybody here, speak up, introduce yourself, let me know you're here. Look in the comments. And of course, any engagement, any questions along the way, I would absolutely love to see. So welcome to this relaunch of my LinkedIn Live. It's been a while since I did the live show. This is called The One Thing. Why is it called The One Thing? Mainly to keep myself on track, to offer you just one insight, tip, tool, strategy around LinkedIn and how to leverage that for lawyers and others, of course. So my name is Viveka Hess of Hess Connect, and I work with lawyers and law firms to help support, guide on how to leverage LinkedIn to build business and great relationships, and tact and strategies to build your book of business. So thank you, Melissa, John, for showing up here and letting me know that you're here so I don't feel like I'm just speaking to myself the entire time. So the big idea with this one thing is, again, just one thing in 10 minutes every Wednesday morning. The specific idea for this week specifically is around the topic of your LinkedIn headline. And that's where you have 220 characters or so, if you're creating it from desktop, to really squeeze in the headline is immediately below your thumbnail. That's where you have an opportunity to share your story, what you do, and what sets you apart. And many lawyers, many professionals actually don't even know that you can change that headline. And this is what happens if you don't do anything. You're not proactive. Danny, happy Wednesday. Yes, we're halfway through the week. We've got this. What happens if you don't proactively change that headline is that LinkedIn will insert the default headline, which is basically the title, just a title for your most recent experience section. Now, what does a title say? Not very much, right? It's just a title. It doesn't give a whole picture of who you are. And you're certainly not the default person or default attorney of anything, right? Nobody here walks away as the default. Okay, so thank you, Elizabeth, Andrew, for joining me here. I think you're going to recognize a few examples I'll be using here when it comes to the headline. Again, this is The One Thing live show that's been relaunched here, and we are keeping the focus on how to update your headline. This is what's going to travel with your thumbnail all over LinkedIn. It's the first point of contact that somebody has with you. So you better make it good. Don't leave the default setting there. All right, Danny says I need a better headline. All right, let's dig in here. We've got 10 minutes. I'm going to keep it real short and sweet here. But as mentioned, you have 220 characters, maybe a little bit more. You can sort of work around from your mobile, but there's very little reason to expand on it beyond 220 characters. There's a reason LinkedIn has given us this tight space to pack in quite a bit. So you've got to put some thought into how you're going to introduce yourself there. But the three elements, that you have to have in that headline in some configuration is what you do, who you work with, and third, finally, is what sets you apart. And that's the one that's probably the hardest. You could go on and on about what sets you apart from your experience, your expertise, your practice area, but to pack that into those 220 characters and give a full picture of what you do and why you do what you do, that's a hard thing. So spend a little bit of time on that. And this is something that we actually had. What sets you apart is a conversation topic that we had in my private membership group, the Lawyer's Brief, and we meet every Tuesday morning, and we had this conversation about how do you figure in terms of your content, but in this case, the headline. How do you configure what really sets you apart? And the conversation was around working really hard to find what's unique about what you do or how you do it. And so the point here is not to be contrived about it or try and sort of push something or make it up, but really each one of us has something that is unique. So whatever comes naturally, whatever you're passionate about. I know there are several people here in the group: Elizabeth, Andrew, Danny, Melissa. You have really high level passion and you're really good at what you do. So just let that flow in a natural way and for your headline in a very succinct way. Jeff Cunningham coming in from Connecticut. Hi. And so I just want to know, let me know if you have what you do, who you work with, and what sets you apart. Do you have that fully in your headline? Because that is, like Melissa said, that is your calling card. When you're traveling around on LinkedIn, that's all they see, your thumbnail and the headline. So you better make it interesting and a full picture. So they come back to your profile and then find out a little bit more about, what you do and who you work with and your level of experience in your practice area. So I want to pull up a few examples. And again, what sets you apart should come as sort of a natural thing to you. Nothing, we're not talking about contrived. You certainly can, Danny, thanks. What if we don't have a specific niche of client? Perfect. Then think about how you offer your services. Maybe it's not a really discrete, narrow niche, fine. But there's certainly something about the way you offer your service, whether it's a different angle, different approach, or the way you blend things as you onboard clients. What is that experience? There is definitely something that sets you apart. Have a bit of a thinker on what that is, and sort of tap into that and position that in your headline. So, and I do get that question. What if I have a really broad audience? Okay, fine. But then you do have a certain way, might be just simply be a personality trait of how you offer your service that is something that resonates with some people. It may not resonate with others. Perfect. Beautiful. Then you're repelling the ones that aren't going to be a good fit eventually anyhow, and you're attracting the ones that just resonate for whatever reason. Maybe it's just the way you present yourself. So there you go, Danny. Have a little thinker on that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to spotlight some of the folks that are in my private membership, the Lawyer's Brief, which is a group of really high level of thinking, creativity, and enormous support. And yes, I guide on LinkedIn topics and cutting edge strategies and tips. LinkedIn seems to be rolling out new updates every few months. So that's my job. But the group entirely is an amazingly supportive, creative, great thinking group. So if you have an interest of joining the group or testing it out, just let me know. Hit me up in the DMs, direct messages, or just simply say in the comments the word brief, as in Lawyer's Brief. All right, Melissa saying here, I leaned into what I was once shy or even ashamed to show of myself, what may be different, and highlighted that. Seems counterintuitive. Maybe. I really don't think so. I mean, you are where you are now and you're attracting the right kind of people. You're not attracting the entire world, right? There are certain people that will come to you because this resonates. So be bold, be brave about that. But let me pull up a few examples. And these are 3 examples from our group. But for example, in your title, rather than saying chair or pharma biotech practice group of counsel, how about saying something like strategic advisor, helping you grow your business locally and globally by identifying and protecting, commercializing your intellectual property assets? What a bigger picture. You see how that works? That's a much broader, more meaningful picture of what this attorney does. So rather than saying member of law firm ABC, how about saying outside general counsel for law firms, ethics advice, legal malpractice defense, and holistic law firm risk management? I cram legal ethics into memes and movies. You know who you are. You're here in the chat. What kind of a picture does that give? Much more than just member of ABC law firm, right? You're outside general counsel. You're talking about what you do, how you do it, holistic law firm risk management. So it's a very full picture. And then this lawyer added in a little bit of a sense of humor and confidence, actually, here in the ethics into memes and movies, right? Having a little bit of fun with that. That is good stuff, Jeff Cunningham. Yes, it is. So, all right. The final example I want to pull here is rather than saying just counsel, what does that say? Absolutely nothing. It's just a title. How about saying copyright and trademark litigator, protecting clients' intellectual property, adjunct professor at Cornell Law, helping next-gen attorneys grasp complex IP concepts, speaker on AI and copyright. I mean, how much more does that say than just counsel, right? We know this person has extensive experience and expertise in intellectual property. They teach. They have a very broad set of experience skills. They teach at a very prestigious university. This attorney also is claiming that he is a speaker. He is a speaker. He's also making himself available as a speaker on the intersection of AI and copyright. So those are just a few examples, but you see how much fuller that headline is if you don't allow LinkedIn to just insert the default title, which really says nothing. So, all right, we're at 10 minutes. And I promise you we're going to keep it at 10 minutes. The one thought was the headline. And for those that aren't showed up live, thank you so much for showing up here on the relaunch. I'm excited to get this going again. And I appreciate you taking time to do this. And I'll be showing up every Wednesday morning at 9:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern for 10 minutes on one topic, the one thing. I really appreciate you. And if you have any questions here in the live or the replay, hit me up in the DMs, the direct messaging, or in this comment thread, and I'll make sure and get back to you. Thanks for joining me. All right. Bye.